It is indeed a privilege and a blessing to sit here in this capacity of narrator of a documentary about a truly, truly remarkable woman and human being. I plead and say that I am indeed qualified to do so because many years of our lives were shared together. I am a living witness to many parts of the life of Professor Joy Uche Angela Ogwu. I am Dr. Kechi Obuago, UN retired, President of Conversations for Change. But most important, I would like to thank a close friend of Professor Ogwu, a friend till the very end. My knowledge of her came from many reasons, from many interactions. We were friends, we were colleagues, we worked and served together. And particularly precious, I think, was the period we both worked in the UN in the US. She as the Nigerian ambassador to the United Nations, I working as the coordinator of the UNFPA Global Program on Reproductive Health Commodity, one of the largest project portfolio in the UN till today. It was a wonderful time. We were two women working long hours, working very hard. We shared, we advised, we gave each other tips, we shared our successes, we shared our difficulties, and so on and so forth. For these and many other things left unsaid, I feel compelled to make this documentary. She would have wanted me to tell her story, a story that needs to be told, the story of a truly remarkable human being. She was a sermon in the purest form of that word, a sermon which I lived and witnessed, a sermon which I had the privilege of witnessing till the end. Welcome to this documentary on the life and times of Professor Joy Uche Angela Ogwu. In a world of changing powers and shifting alliances, one woman stood at the intersection of intellect and influence. Her name? Professor Joy Uche Angela Ogwu, a scholar, a diplomat, a trailblazer, the woman who gave Nigeria a new voice on the global stage. Born on August 22nd, 1946, in Delta State, Nigeria, Joy Ogwu's journey began in a family that valued education and faith. She studied political science at Rutgers University in the United States, where she began to ask bold questions about Africa's place in global affairs. Her pursuit of knowledge took her home, in the end, to the University of Lagos, where she earned a PhD in political science, breaking barriers at that time when few women dared to dream that high. Her early years would define her life's philosophy, that knowledge is not for prestige, but for service. At the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, NIIA for short, Joy Ogwu found her intellectual home. There, she began a distinguished career that spanned decades, eventually becoming Director General of the Institute, the first woman to ever do so. As a scholar, she redefined how Nigeria thought about foreign policy. Her writings explored disarmament, South-South cooperation, and the search for African self-reliance. She made you see that diplomacy wasn't just about embassies, it was about ideas, values, and people. Her academic voice echoed through lecture halls and policy tables alike. She often said, if Africa must speak, it must do so with a knowledge of itself. In 2006, her life entered a new chapter. Professor Joy Ogwu was appointed Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, a position of enormous responsibility and influence. As minister, she emphasized what she called development diplomacy, using Nigeria's international relationships to attract growth, peace, and cooperation. Her leadership extended beyond national boundaries. In 2008, she became Nigeria's permanent representative to the United Nations, the first Nigerian woman ever to hold that office. Twice, she presided over the UN Security Council, first in July 2010 and the second time in October 2011, guiding the world's most powerful body through decisions on peacekeeping, global security, and human rights. She did not just represent Nigeria at the United Nations. The press once wrote, she redefined what it meant to be a Nigerian on the global stage. Joy Ogwu's journey was not just about policies and politics. It was also a story of courage. Courage in an era when international diplomacy was dominated by men. She broke ceilings, defied stereotypes, and led within intellect and empathy. She once said, women must not only sit at the table, they must help design it. Through her advocacy for gender equality and her mentorship of young women, she opened doors that had long been closed. She made you believe you could serve your country without losing your authenticity. Professor Ogwu believed that diplomacy was an extension of moral leadership, the power to influence through integrity. She taught us, recalls one of her former students, that power is best expressed through principles and that service is the truest form of greatness. Her diplomacy was never about confrontation. It was about consensus, never about dominance, but dialogue. Her vision of Nigeria's foreign policy centered on Africa's unity, global peace, and the pursuit of justice for developing nations. At the UN, Joy Ogwu became a respected voice on issues of disarmament, peacekeeping, and South-South cooperation. She represented not just Nigeria, but a continent striving to define its future. Under her watch, Nigeria was recognized as a constructive, principled partner, a nation that believed in peace through dialogue. Her leadership inspired respect, and her intellect inspired reform. Professor Joy Ogwu retired from active service, but her influence did not fade. She continued to mentor, teach, and advice. Her ideas shaped Nigeria's approach to policy for decades, embedding research, reflection, and responsibility into the nation's foreign policy framework. Today, her legacy lives on in every Nigerian envoy, every peace mission, and every woman who dares to lead. Her footprints remain in every institution she touched, from the National Institute of International Affairs to the Security Council, and in every heart that she inspired. They say true leaders build bridges that others cross long after they are gone. Professor Joy Ogwu built bridges between continents, between ideas, between generations. Her name stands among Nigeria's greatest, not for wealth or power, but for wisdom, service, and integrity. Through her, the world learned that Nigeria's strength lies not only in its size, but in the quality of its minds and the courage of its women. Today, we remember not only what she achieved, but what she inspired. Her voice still echoes in policy, in purpose, in posterity. Professor Joy Uche Angela Ogwu, the scholar who spoke for a nation, the diplomat who listened to the world, and the woman who reminded us all that service is the truest form of greatness. I have given a short anecdote about her life on the global stage. And yet there's still so much to say about this remarkable woman. Again, I justify the reason why I'm here narrating her life, telling a little of her life story. One of those reasons is because, again, Professor Joy Uche Ogwu was a very, very close, intimate partner in a venture that was and continues to be a very important part of my life. Professor Ogwu and I, as I had said before, were friends and worked closely in New York. We both retired at about the same time and relocated to Nigeria. After retirement, for me, my passion was the need to continue to provide service, given relative health and strength from God. My passion, my mission was to establish an international nonprofit with a major focus of empowering young people. As usual, I shared my idea and my passion with my friend, Professor Joy Ogwu, and she gave me her full support. The organization was established in 2014, at the end of 2014. And of course, Professor Ogwu was one of the members of the board of trustees. But she just wasn't just a member of the board. She was a close implementing partner. In fact, I can say with some authority that things that involved conversations for change were one of the few things she attended publicly after retirement, because she had sort of made a decision to lead a more quiet life. but she was with us in every occasion. She was there at all the board meetings, sharing ideas, helping us with her wisdom. She was there to talk to the young people herself. She participated in every workshop, giving lectures, sharing thoughts, listening to them. I think perhaps one of the most memorable of these periods was after a lecture on ethics to the young intakes. Young people that we take in, train for a period of 1 year, provide equipment and support, and indeed enable them to become knowledgeable entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs who run their business with passion and integrity, run their business because they understand about management and because they have been inspired and motivated to become patriotic Nigerians. She lectured them, and as I said, on ethics. And after one of her memorable lectures, she turned to them and she said, "You are and will be streams in a desert." We all received it with shock. Deserts, streams, and yet Joy has always been and was prophetic in her utterances. We knew we were in a desert. It was a country. Nigeria is a country with many problems. But little did we know, little did the fellows know how even more arid the desert will become. But her prophecy is coming true and continues to come true. These young peoples, mentored, trained, supported, and produced by Conversations for Change, are streams in a desert, even if the desert continues to be arid. They are blossoming, they are resilient, they are running their businesses, tilling the soil, producing fruits, and one day, they will yield fruit that will empower, enrich, feed themselves, feed their country, and who knows, their influence would even be global. Yes, Professor Ogwu was precious, was a close, intimate part of Conversations for Change. And as an organization, we say adieu to her role as a member of the board. But thank you for the many, many bits of wisdom which she shared with us and with all the young people. As I have previously narrated in this documentary, Joy Ogwu was a giant. She led and she delivered. And she achieved a monumental. For those of us who had the privilege of sharing our lives with her, we know how humble and gentle she was despite all her achievements. We know that despite all the national and global duties, she was a very private person. She did her very best to keep her public work separate from her intimate, treasured, sheltered, and guided nuclear family life. And so, even in death, we honor that her wish, that's her principle. We honor her wish for privacy, her wish for shielding her family, her children from the glare of the public light. And so we accede to that wish and would only in this documentary mention a bit. She was married to Dr. Aloysius Ogwu, a distinguished gynecologist and obstetrician. They had 5 children. Please, let's listen to one of them.
My mother came from very humble beginnings. Born to a family in Lagos, Nigeria, she excelled in high school and moved to the United States, where she met my dad and started a family in the 1970s. My family moved back to Nigeria soon after my mom completed her graduate studies. Despite the highly demanding duties of being a mother and wife, my mother excelled in her career. I certainly have the road ahead of me in trying to beat her record, but this is the goal many parents set for their children. My mother had an amazing career. She was a lecturer in universities, moved on to research fellow role in international relations, and along the way, authored numerous papers and books in her field. She had many firsts under her belt. First Director General of the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, first female ambassador to the United Nations, the first Nigerian woman United Nations Security Council President, and the first President of the Executive Board of UN Women of the then newly launched agency of the United Nations. Besides my mom's career, the other part of my mother's life was just as inspiring. My mom was a fabulous hostess and an amazing cook. She made everyone feel welcome and special at any social gathering. She was humble and treated everyone with respect. Never looking down on anyone, she treated her staff like family, shared her wealth of experience with her students, not just as a teacher, but someone who truly cared about their success. My mom would want to be remembered not as the successful diplomat she became, but rather for her philanthropic, charitable contributions to humanity and devotion to her Catholic faith. My mother will be truly missed, and her legacy will continue through the people she has had an influence on.
After this short intervention, we will, as we said, honor her wish and their wish for privacy and allow them to grieve in peace and to grieve in private. Professor Joy Ogwu was not only a wonderful wife and mother, she was also a respected daughter from a very distinguished part of Nigeria, from Asaba. A tribe, a people deep and rich in culture, in beauty. A people who recognized the strength and the grandeur and numerous achievements of their daughter, Joy Ogwu. A people she held very dear throughout her life, but also who loved her and honored and respected her at every opportunity. Let me leave the feelings of Asaba for this great daughter to be shared by the traditional ruler of that great part of this country, the Ashagba of Asaba.
I am paying to grant this interview and pay public tribute on behalf of Asaba community to our late departed sister, Professor Joy Ogwu. We thank God for a well-fulfilled life, full of accomplishments. She was a pride to our community, and we rejoiced immensely in how far she was able to take the name of Asaba to the global stage. We surely will miss her, but her memory will always be a blessing. We convey our heartfelt sympathy to the family and our condolences to the global community. She was undoubtedly a citizen of the world and more or less a child of the universe. So her boundaries extended far beyond the shores of Asaba, and we will surely miss her. May her soul rest in peace. May her memory be a blessing. Amen. I thank you. Amen.
Joy Ogwu loved spending time with her friends. She loved spending time more with as many of the friends as possible, even more so in her retirement. She had more time on her hands, and she knew that a beautiful old age is made even more beautiful and satisfying if you spend it with others who are also like you. On those occasions when friends reached out a hand of invitation, she would joyfully accept. She partied, she danced. She loved classical music. She would come to the recitals in some of her friends' homes. She was a precious part of it all. Even in these informal friend and family gatherings, she was outstanding. No matter the talk, no matter the task, no matter how small and mundane, no matter how big or splendid, she handled every occasion with wisdom and grace. In particular, I remember when one of my daughters got married in New York, she was given the task of saying the opening prayers. She got up and she prayed. The prayer turned into profound words of spiritual wisdom. I don't think I have ever seen anything quite like it. At the conclusion of her little opening prayer, the whole hall erupted in applause. Yes, applause after a prayer. She impacted sincerity, spirituality, and humility in everything she did. I remember the many global functions in which she had to address a distinguished audience, and she would tell me, she would say, "Kechi, I spoke, but I don't know where the words came from. They could only have come from God."
I am Carol Ndabuba, a lawyer by profession, retired public officer. I was the pioneer executive secretary of NAPTO, an agency set up to fight human trafficking in Nigeria. Joy was my friend. I've known her for over 40 years. In fact, since she came back from America to start work in Nigeria. she and her husband. We became family friends, and Joy was a phenomenal person, full of talent, soft-spoken, beautiful, quiet, very well-mannered, and spoke with like a lady. I used to say that she was an epitome of a lady, brain and beauty. That was what I called her. Very respectful, and despite all the high positions she held in the country and abroad, she was still the same simple friend I had.
The news of the passing of Ambassador Professor Joy Ogwu in New York came to me as a rude shock. Joy was a close friend. We got even closer when we were both appointed ambassadors of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, she to the United Nations and me to Ireland and Iceland. I had tremendous respect for Joy. Joy performed creditably, distinguished herself in all the positions she held. Whether it was the Director General of the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs or Minister of Foreign Affairs or Ambassador to the United Nations. It was obvious that it was always a round peg in a round hole. Joy was warm and friendly. And I remember when we attended the CSW in New York, there I was ambassador. Joy always organized conferences, side conferences for Nigerian delegates and invited the international women from international community to attend. And it was a meeting point where people made friends. And her speeches were so motivational, inspirational. And I mean, like every time Joy delivered a speech, you went home with a message.
Joy and I were colleagues in the Public Service of Nigeria, neighbors in our various offices on Victoria Island, and I met her in 1986. What I remember most memorably about Joy is her calmness, her intellect, her sharp mind, and her strong faith in her Catholic faith. I remember this very, very vividly and sadly, but happily, because she was someone that one could learn from. And I admired her a lot because she was quick-witted but very calm.
My name is Dr. Dave Namani. I was special assistant to Professor Joy Ogwu as Minister for Foreign Affairs between 2006 to May 29th, 2007. As Minister for Foreign Affairs, I saw Professor Joy Ogwu walk as there will be no tomorrow. She presented her work both during the ECOWAS summit, both at the AU in 2007 in Addis Ababa. We were there together where she represented Nigeria. In that occasion, she so thrilled the Libyan head of state that the Libyan head of state embarrassed himself by trying to say he wants to marry her. It was our permanent secretary then, Dr. Akim Baba Ahmed, who saved the situation. Professor Ogwu, in her lifetime, was not only a workaholic, she believes in perfection. She writes and reads things and makes sure they come out the best.
In 1962, I was admitted into Holy Rosary Secondary School, Diogo, Port Harcourt, Rivers State. I was assigned to St. Cecilia's house, the dormitory in which we found Ambassador Joy Ogwu. She was a senior by a year, and being that she did not intimidate us because she was gentle, friendly, and soft-spoken, we became friends, and over time we got even closer as our family members worked in the same institution in Ogoni. We spent holidays in Ogoni together. I had the impression that her father had hold over her, in that he guided her and made her very hardworking in order to make a success of her life in the future. And that is the very foundation of her exploits in later life.
Hi, what can I say, Auntie Joy? I can't even believe she's gone. Auntie, you're just so amazing, loving, dependable. I'm looking at your pictures and you always had that half smile, like something was just, you found something, like you were fascinated, you were amused. You just had that half smile, like, and you're quiet demeanor, and you would tell stories about Port Harcourt. You were so proud of your beginnings in Port Harcourt, the time you spent in Port Harcourt, in Bori. You were so proud of your father. Oh my God, the charge nurse, his accomplishments in Burma. Oh, the stories, Auntie. Who's going to tell me all the stories? We would spend hours. I just remember when you said how you guys fled from Aba and your dad wasn't around and you guys had to run, and then he got into the house and he just remembered that you loved his beloved Joy, loved salad cream, and he got an unopened bottle of salad dressing. And so when he found you guys, he didn't even remember his certificates. He didn't remember his memorabilia from the war. All he remembered was salad cream for his beloved Joy. Wow. Your face would light up when you told all those stories. It was amazing how you said you were a little brownie in Port Harcourt, selected to receive Queen Elizabeth. And as life and providence would have it, you rose to be president of the Security Council. And as president of the Security Council, representing the Nigerian government as ambassador, permanent representative of Nigeria to the United Nations, you now were president of the Security Council, and you received the Queen Elizabeth, and her husband, Prince Philip. And you said he was so amazed and like intrigued, like, wow, this black lady is president of the Security Council of the United Nations, and he would come to you and say, did you say you were the president of the Security Council? And you'll look at him with that your half smile, like your smile, amused smile, and say yes. And he'll look at you, then he'll run again, walk away, then come back again and ask you the same question, that this happened maybe even 2-3 times. And you were such a devout person, Auntie. You loved the Lord with all your strength, all your mind, your heart, your spirit. You loved the Lord. I remember years ago I went with you to see Cardinal Arinze when he came into town, and he was having a high mass just before the Holy Week. You asked me to join you, and I joined you. And, I was even at the consulate when you were made ambassador to the United Nations. I was the legal counsel for the Nigerian consulate in New York, but you would always call me for advice, get me to drop documents for you. You would send me even to receptions and people would be upset. You would send me to represent you, and years later we just grew. You introduced me to your family. I got to get close to your children. And you have a lovely family. You're very dependable. You're always there for us. Very loving. I'll come to your house and you'll cook me a meal and I'll fall asleep and you'll wait for me to wake up, and then I'll drink coffee and drive back home. And last December, when I was going through a lot, you almost even wanted me to sit on your laps. That's how nurturing you are. And so we're very proud of you. We're very proud of your accomplishments. You were a pace setter. You broke so many glass ceilings for the women in Nigeria. You paved the way for us all.
She was a very spiritual person. She was deeply spiritual. She was a child of God. She had deep spiritual insights. Sometimes her utterances were almost prophetic in their spiritual depth, in their wisdom. She also had an amazing command of the English language. All her busy working years, the church was precious to her. She was deeply Catholic. She mentored numerous members of the clergy as close friends and as proteges. She entertained some of the highest in the church hierarchy at functions and in her home. She met and she touched the lives of all levels of the clergy, sisters, reverend fathers, so many. Within the last few years, and indeed post-retirement, she turned more and more to her God. Regular spiritual retreats, deep and prayerful retreats, sessions, prayer groups, and more. In the last few months of her beautiful life, I had the special privilege of spending time with her in New York. Those months were some of the toughest times of her last journey. For many hours, we sat, we talked, we reminisced, we looked back on our journey. She talked and I listened. Through it all, her strongest statement, and indeed it was a declaration, was, Kechi, the one thing I am absolutely certain of is that the Lord journeys with me. He is with me. All is well. If He decides to still leave me here on earth, that is also good, because He is with me. And all through those months until the very end, every time we had occasion to talk, she would reiterate, He is with me. He is journeying with me. And so, it is with confidence and full assurance that I conclude this beautiful story of the life of Professor Joy Ogwu by quoting the good book. I quote 2 Timothy chapter 4, verses 7 to 8. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Now, there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award me on that day. And so we say adieu to this wonderful and remarkable human being, a truly great patriot, a true daughter of Nigeria, Africa, a shining example of womanhood. We promise her that her legacy will never be forgotten, and she will continue to provide inspiration for many generations to come. Farewell, Professor Joy Uche Ogwu.